Okay, so now put some more body filler going up that way. Now I'm just going to take my hand and sand it with this hand sand it that way. Once I do that, I'm going to go back one more time and just put a slight skiff to fill in all of these little divots. So this should get me nice and round now. So that's our next step. Okay, let's try this. This is looking a lot better. I already know it's a little low. Let's see. Right through here. A little low. Right in this mark. So let's give it a once over. I'm going to clean it. I think we should be okay right through here. Just right there. Right in between here. I can feel it dip. But we'll see when we get that layer of primer down. And then I got a little bit right through here. It's a little wavy, but I don't think I could get any better. That's just, yeah, it's just a really tough spot. I might put a little bit right along the edge here, and then maybe try and go flat this way. But I can feel like a little, where it was cut, it moved up right here, goes down just a little bit, and comes back up right there on that other corner. So I think everything else is fairly okay. So I'm gonna put a primer, put a coat of primer on. I know I need to sand that down right there. Put another coat of primer down. And oh, I gotta do a little bit right there. I better get the stuff first, so I'll sand those down real quick. Then put another coat. Then we'll see. It's looking better. All right, let's see. Still, it's looking a lot better. I can still see some little bumps, like I said, right in there, but not as bad. So I need one quick, very thin skiff, but I think I can live with that, because this is that's just shiny from fresh paint on the metal. So that one right there, just kind of fresh paint, because I know that one's flat right there, but it looks low. And then right in there, as you can see, the two. So we're much closer. All right, we'll let it dry and go from there. All right. Pretty straight. Pretty straight. Pretty straight. There's a little bit of a gap, but I'm not gonna worry about that. See, I can't do much there. Overall, that's looking really good straight across there. Now I know, see, this is gonna be a little bit harder because I can't get straight, so it can come down a little bit if I have to, but I think we're there. See, this one's more flat, so maybe what I'll do is I'll just flatten the top. So that's what it looks like. Looks a little, because everything's straight going this way. I think I just need to bring down the center, going all the way down. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's there. Definitely fixed up that gap there. We're much, much closer. Yeah. So pretty much going this way, nice and straight. It's just going this way. We have to bring it down just a little bit. You can see this one's nice and flat all the way down, so we have to fix that one, just flatten it out. Because if you're looking, we're just high in the middle. I'm gonna get my my hand block sander. I showed you guys earlier. Can use that, and that way I can just. So, all right, almost there. Getting better. Getting closer. All right, so I used 220, and I just skipped off because this was really high right here, so I used that right there, and I just went over it real quick to make it flat through there. So I just need to take, it is pretty flat now, let's see if you can see, so it's a lot more flat. There's nothing going through it, so I just need to take one more skiff to fill in these little areas, and I'll be done with Bondo. So, and then I'll start sanding it down to the finer grit. So I'll take 1,000 grit here after I get this one done, sand it down to where it's nice and level, and then do 1,000 grit. And we'll be done with Bondo, and then we're getting awfully close to getting it painted up. So I don't know if you can see. Let's see if we can, maybe in the sun, I don't know. There's still some deeper scratches. Nah, you can't see it, but I can see with my eyes, so I'm gonna have to just take that 1,000 grit until all those deep scratches get out. Maybe even 1,500, whatever. And then work my way up to 2,000. But this one, it just needs a nice little scuff. It's done. And one more prime. But getting closer, much closer. I should be done with the body, or the whole body work for sure today. And I should have these all sanded down by 2,000 grit tonight. And then hopefully tomorrow or the next day I'll have them get ready for paint. All right, we're almost there. All right, the last layer. Now look how thin that layer really is. So that shows you how close we got it. So now that's gonna be all straight, no waves or anything like that. I think I'm gonna have one little bump, yeah, right through here, a little indent, but there's just, it's just the way the metal bends right there, and I don't wanna get too involved there. And that's just smooth. I mean, it gets a little high right there, but I think once I get this finer grit sandpaper, it'll be fine. All right, we'll let that set up an hour, and we'll start working on 1,000 on that side. All right, so I'm taking actually 220. I'm just taking a little pad because I'm just scuffing it up a little bit, and I'm trying to take out some of those bigger, deeper scratches, kind of like right in there. I don't know if you can see them, but they're just tiny scratches. So I'm going to do that just to get the majority of where the Bondo was. Just So now you can see the scratches are starting to go more and more away. I don't even know if you can see them on the with this camera, but just little by little. So I'm just going to scuff it up like this with the 220, put another layer of primer on, and that should cover in all the other last final, any bigger scratches and everything. I started with the 1000, and it just wasn't cutting it enough. So I think that should get all the big scratches out. So I'm going to add another layer of primer on this one. Now down here, it's fine because I didn't do no Bondo body work there, so I don't really need to sand down in that area. It's just where the Bondo is, because you can see where the higher scratches are. Perfect example, you can kind of see the scratches in there. See, that's what this had, a few in there. So if I take it down to 220, put one more coat of primer on, then I'll go over it with a 1000, maybe even just a 2000. We'll see. We'll see how many scratches it gets out. Alright, so I got that all nice and flat. Got down to 220. He's ready to go. So I'm gonna wipe it down with some wax tar remover. Spray paint it with some primer. And then I'll go over, see if there's any major big scratches or anything like that. This one, he looks done. I don't even know if I'm gonna go any higher. I don't even know if I'll do 2000. If anything, once I paint it, I might wet sand the black if there's any imperfections, but I don't see any major scratch marks or anything, so this one is ready to go. It's just a little bit right there, but that's nothing. That's all right. Let's get this one side primered up, and we'll see if there's anything else we need to do to it. All right, I just got to do a few little nicks in there, so sand it down maybe just a little bit more. This one's almost ready too. I got a little bit right in that area. I know you probably can't see it. There it is. You can see a little bit right there. So I just need to go over this one more time, but there's no major big scratches. And I did a little bit of a run right here, so I just have to scuff that one down a little bit and primer this one more time, and this one will be done. Looks way better. You can just see the few little strands that stick up, but other than that, you can see a little bit of a bump right here if you look at it at a certain angle. But it's very, very minute, and of course right here in where the C is, because on the plasma or water cutter or whatever they used, it moved it up a little bit. So, but from looking from this far away, you're never going to be able to tell. And once they're on the car, yeah, you'll never be able to tell. This one turned out just almost perfect. Literally almost perfect. Very proud of myself on this one. Yeah. All right. So hopefully I have enough daylight for this to dry. I'll be able to sand it down one more coat. Put one more coat on. I'll be done with this tonight, and then maybe paint tomorrow or the next day. It'll probably be Friday, but we'll see. Never know. Okay. Alright. Yeah, it's not drying quick enough to where, you know, it's dry to the touch. But I tried to sand a little bit there and it just kind of scuffed it a little too much. So I'm just going to let it sit. And I'll sand the rest tomorrow. Get it down real nice. And then maybe Friday, the day after, I'll paint. Because I want it to sit nice and get nice and dry before I paint the black on top of it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it back over and just touch up these spots where it overspray on the back. Just give it a quick shot of the black and then let it dry and then flip it back over, paint this side. Alright, so that's the end of tonight.